KETV Newswatch 7, chronicling the stories impacting our community. Stories making a difference. Stories that matter to you. This is KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle.
It's a sight that never gets old. Families reuniting after being separated by war. You can just see the relief in their tears and their smiles. And the recent anniversary of September 11th is a poignant reminder of the sacrifices so many have made for our country and our freedom. But not everyone comes home or comes home healthy. Good morning, I'm Brandy Peterson, and welcome to KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle. Today we're looking at the trials and tribulations facing veterans once they return from war. And it's not just an issue the military member faces. Many times, the entire family is affected. The numbers show the wide-reaching effects of war. So far, 6,668 U.S. servicemen and women have died in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. The Iraq War has claimed more lives, 4,474. 2,194 have died in Afghanistan, and more than 50,000 have been injured in both wars. But oftentimes, we don't tell that part of the story, the wounded warriors whose lives are forever changed. What you see are the homecomings, like the one we covered earlier this month. A hero's welcome for dozens of local military members finally safe after serving in Afghanistan. For 9 months, they put their lives on hold, but the mission came with a price. They lost a member of their unit last May. KETV Newswatch 7's Christina Engdahl was there for their emotional homecoming.
Holding signs, holding back tears. Waiting for this moment for months.
About a year.
The moment they'd hold their soldier again. And for the Campisi family, 9 months felt like a lifetime.
It's a wonderful thing to know that nobody's pointing a gun at him anymore.
Their son Joe safe at home and face to face with the reason he served.
Family and you know, your brothers and sisters.
Brothers and sisters in arms, but hugging and cheering in the Epley terminal, everyone is family.
It's moving, really. See all the support and love from people you don't even know.
I'm in too.
Soldiers happy to be back in their country, and parents just thankful they're alive.
He's got all 10 toes and 10 fingers, and so it's just a huge weight lifted off you.
But this time, they're coming home one soldier down.
I want to take this time to say sorry, First Class Trenton Ray. He had an impact on me, and you'll be missed.
Losing a member of the 603rd Military Police Company, but never losing faith in their mission.
Seriously, one day at a time is only the way I can think to do it.
That was Christina Engdahl reporting. The 603rd MP Company helped train the police force in Kandahar, Afghanistan. Well, as we mentioned, not all homecomings are joyous. Oftentimes, families face tears and trauma, and that's where groups like Wounded Warriors Family Support come in. Joining us this morning to tell us more about that is Kate McCauley and Nicole and David DiTuccio. David is an Iraq War veteran and was critically injured in February of 2008 when his unit was ambushed. All of you, thank you so much for being with us. David, thank you for your service to our country. I appreciate that a lot. Now, you mentioned that when we were watching Christina's story that it was really hitting a chord with you.
Yes, it was. To see everyone come home is fantastic, but there are a lot that are left over there. Their memories are left there, even when they come home to be put to rest, and it hurts. It hurts to know that they're not going to be there again, and to see the families. When you go to someone that you've met before on multiple occasions, had barbecues with, and to know that his wife and children are not going to be able to see their dad or their husband, it hurts. So.
Wow. Emotionally, obviously, this has taken a toll on you. Physically as well, you suffered when you were serving our country.
Yes, in 2008 in February, I was hit by an IED during an ambush. When we went through the town, we just were not expecting it. They popped out, and I was one of 3 that were injured. Mine was the most critical at the time. They got me support as soon as the firefight died down. I was able to get to trauma center to get taken care of. But it was the guys that I served with that kept me there.
Wow. So you come home, obviously Nicole, he's your husband, you're happy to see him. How did your life change when he came home and was injured?
Everything changes, actually. You think that they're going to come home and be the same that they were before, and they just aren't. They're more angry about things. They're upset because of all of the things that are going on, like him being in the hospital and all of the doctor's appointments that they go to and all the doctors they have coming in and out constantly. It takes a lot out of them, and then he had a brain injury, so cognitively he had to really rebuild that, and that was a really tough road for him.
So what led you to Kate and to Wounded Warriors?
I was actually just looking up organizations that help. I had contacted some others that I hadn't gotten any help or reply from. At the time, we had just gotten out. They medically retired him in 2009, and he had just gotten out of the military. We were going through the retirement process, but there's a little bit of a hiccup in the time when the Army cuts off and the VA takes over. And that's where Wounded Warrior Family Support came in, because they were there when the VA wasn't ready yet.
So we were able to really fill a gap in the VA benefits that are offered, or perhaps you know, it wasn't settled yet with their claim or whatever the process is. Sometimes it can be, we're told 90 days, but in reality it's like 9 months. A lot of times from the time they are medically retired to the time they actually receive a paycheck again, or their retirement, it can sometimes be 9 months. And what are they supposed to do if they have no resources or family? So that's where our organization comes in to help support military families just like them.
And what are the kinds of things that you do?
Really, we started, our main program was doing these retreats, these resort getaways, and we fly the families to Orlando. We pretty much take them out of their element, take them away from doctor appointments, just the normal hustle and bustle of life. Everything's pretty much all-inclusive, so it's something to get them away. There's no agenda for the organization. It's to help them heal and reconnect after multiple deployments, and then mom or dad comes home injured. And our organization is really there for families with small children.
And have you guys noticed a difference from getting this help?
Absolutely. I definitely think so. It allowed me a huge weight to be lifted off, to where I could just go and enjoy my wife, the kids, and not worry about anything else, but just actually be in the moment and have fun again. I didn't think I was going to be able to get that. I really didn't.
How about you?
Yeah, it was the same for me. I was happy to see him happy again. Like, it was really hard, and he hadn't been happy for like 1.5 years at the time when they stepped in.
You take things like that for granted. I mean, we see these families coming home and think everything's okay again, and you forget that it takes quite a process to get there.
No. It does. The process can sometimes be arduous, but you know, when I was getting out, the Army hadn't quite figured out how they wanted to do the transition with the VA, which was probably the biggest thing. It wasn't necessarily the VA that they couldn't do it. It was just there were so many soldiers getting out because of just the absolute toll the war took, that they had not enough staff just to keep up with it. Yeah. And you know, they do their best to, you know, just be patient, we'll take care of it. And when we got set up with them, you know, I had a huge amount of remorse and guilt, because even when I was in the hospital, people were still dying over there, people I knew. Yeah. And there's a sense of, well, if I was there, could that have changed? And you'll never know, but at least when I was doing the programs that they had offering to really reconnect with my family, it allowed me a chance to just breathe a sigh of relief and just be thankful for what I did have in front of me.
Yeah. Kate, taking this story, what would you like to tell other wounded warriors out there coming home, their families? What's the message?
That there's support out there for the military families, and we're very blessed to have the American people believe in our mission and believe in our programs. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here to help support people like Nicole and David.
And is there anything both of you want to say to people out there, just to remind them, you know, this is the week of September 11th. Certainly remember the victims who were lost on that day, but all of the service members who lost after that, serving our country. Is there anything you'd like to say to just people watching today?
There's a huge thing for me is that not all of the injuries that they have are visible. A lot of people might look at him and say, like, oh, he looks great on the outside. He doesn't. They don't realize, like, he looked a little bit different before he came back, but like, he does look great and he's amazing. But a lot of these injuries aren't seen. They're not, you know, even a brain injury, if it's closed trauma, you won't see it. And that can affect that person a lot. And PTSD is a big deal too, in addition to that. So I think one of the biggest things for people to remember is just that not all of these wounds are going to be visible to them, and they need to be sensitive to them.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is that to the military service members coming back, if you need help, seek it out. There are programs, there are support groups like theirs that can make a tremendous amount of good. I would have never thought it. I would have probably gone in with a pessimistic attitude, but after that I really see that there is a huge community outreach for casualties and victims of this war that if you just explore them, you'll realize how much support you can actually have to making a better process.
Very well said. David, thank you. Thank all of you so much. And David, thank you again for keeping us free and safe.
Thank you for having us here.
Well, coming up, other local groups committed to helping these returning warriors adjust to life back in the States and everyday life with their families.